Hi, my name is Cass Pengel, and I'm an artist working in the Denver, Colorado vicinity. I recently just did my art thesis project, or finished my art thesis, and I decided that I wanted to use AI and see what I could do with it. AI and I have a very finicky relationship right now. Like, it's a very hot topic with artists in general. So I wanted to find a way to become friends with it, basically. So I guess there are a few questions that I was asked. One of them is, how has AI influenced my work? So in my work, transmission, it played like a really central role. Like, it wasn't just like a technical layer, but it was like a conceptual collaborator. So I was trying to find a way how AI can be a collaborator in a live environment instead of like having it be the end game. Like, let's make a painting, or let's have this end result of something. So I actually have a software background. So I designed an adaptive algorithm that acted like a mediator between AI and performer. And I was trying to use AI in a live performance space. So I had individual contributions during the performance into a computer system, as it like evolved this like fictional psyche, or this fictional culture, which I called the Ashari, which was my algorithm really. The system kind of just processed the inputs, and the system kind of like interprets and evolved and reframed its ideology in real time based on what was inputted into the system itself during the performance. And all this data was then sent to the AI, a large language model, and the AI interpreted what the individual in the performance was doing, and it was giving back information. And then this information was adjusting the little software model that it had, which also interpreted how the live performance was going to be performed. It was really honestly a way to simulate how thought might ripple through a shared mind, a shared consciousness. That's the whole prerogative of the whole performance. So I kind of treated AI as a participant in the creative ecology of the piece, shaping not only sound but also like how like a textual base of giving information to the performers, of like a dynamics of maybe the perception of itself. So it allowed me to like work with a complexity, like a larger complexity of what I was trying to accomplish, with shifting emotional states within a system in a live feedback loop between an audience and the machine. So I was using software as like my mediator model, and then sending to AI. AI was interpreting the data, bringing it back to the software model. The software model would then reach out to the audience performers, which had a phone, and they're receiving data or performance cues, how to perform in real time. The other question I was asked is, how do I see AI affecting the future? I don't think we can avoid it. I think we're moving towards an era where like our creative systems aren't exactly fixed. Like, when computers started happening, we now have computer music, we have Photoshop, we have all these like tools. And so as a creative, we're like, okay, now we have these new technologies and new tools. How do we use them to help facilitate what we're doing? So I think maybe the role as an artist right now is becoming less about like authorship, but more be about like orchestrating authorship. Like, you're still the author of the piece. You just have an extra layer of tools to be able to do your thing, whatever that thing may be. I think maybe, like, for me, I'm like, how can I use it for a different type of genre, like participatory art, for example, which is something I don't honestly know if anybody has done yet before. And that's why I really wanted to do it. I was like, I wonder if we can do this thing. So like in that respect, I think AI will push us towards more of the ability of participatory art in a different way, in a live setting that can change real time and influences of the environment, the audience, or some sort of social context that the AI is interpreting in real time. That's kind of neat. I thought that was kind of a really kind of weird, interesting idea. I think AI, though, like while I was creating this, it really made me challenge to rethink what is considered original thought. Like, am I, like, what I'm trying to create, is it original, or is it creating these original thoughts for me, and what is the thought? So, like, if the machine can interpret and remix and respond with, like, increasing subtlety, then our authorship kind of becomes a little bit disrupted or disturbed, so it's a little bit more entangled of what we create. I don't know. I think the future might require us to take a little bit more responsibility of what we create, but like maybe more in terms of what we train to create the systems that we're creating. In that sense, we're still running into ethical and aesthetic dimensions of AI, and we're like, where is that line? I don't know. In my project, I honestly, like, it was an experiment, really, of how can I get AI to how can I talk to AI? What kind of models can I use, and how that affect the environment, or like what I was trying to create. And part of me is like, well, did I even need AI to begin with? Like, could I have done this in a different way? What is AI serving my part of my piece, or the audience? Like, what are they gaining out of it? Like, would they even know that AI was even involved in this if I didn't tell them? Probably not. A lot of the things they just honestly didn't know, and that's fine. It was just more of how could I use AI to create this end result in some way that we've never really done before. But authorship, like, man, never in this regard, using AI or software in general, like, it was like every single performance was going to be different based on the interpretation of AI. So that was really cool. I like that because I didn't really know what it was going to predict. I even, like, the very beginning before the performance happened, I was like, hey, I don't know what it's going to say. I don't know what it's going to tell you. Just interpret it in the way that you interpreted it as. Because it's going to be a computer that's trying to interpret art. And that's, it's different, especially when it's in a model that it's never been trained on something as like this. Like, I would have to be like, hey, I'm in a gallery environment. This is what we're doing. I need you to respond into these situations. What do you think? And then it would, it gave me back data. And that was kind of neat. So as an author, I'm like, hey, I made this. This is mine. I did this thing. But at the same time, I'm like, I got help from a computer system. I don't know. It kind of just depends on how you look at it. So how do I feel about it? How do I feel about AI? Well, I've talked a bunch about how I feel a little bit, but I guess it's a new tool that I'm really kind of observing right now. Like, I've as a composer and an artist, like as an artist, I've used it as like ideation and conceptualizing, and that's great. It's really good to talk to it. I spoke at the undergraduate research conference at MSU Denver this past spring, and I was explaining, I was like, AI has been very interesting. Like, I can use ChatGPT, which is actually the API that I was using. No, I was using Ollama. Sorry, I was using Ollama for this because I was in an environment where I couldn't use wireless. I couldn't call out to the API, so I ended up using Ollama locally. But like, to develop this project, I don't think I would have ever been able to accomplish it without AI. Even with a software background, I didn't know how to do a lot of the software that I needed. So in that respect, that was amazing. Like, Claude was great. Chat is okay. Claude and I became really good friends, and I'd be like, I need to make a WebSocket, and I have no idea how to do that. And it would actually teach me how to make WebSockets, or how to make these wireless interfaces, or like this idea that I was trying to do. And I could talk to ChatGPT and I'd be like, hey, this is what my idea is. Is this technical? Like, can I actually do these things? And I'd be like, yeah, actually you can. This is how you do it. I'm like, oh, okay, so cool. Like, teach me how to do that. So in as a teacher, AI has been really, really, really key and beneficial for me. So I'm not searching the internet and Google for thousands and thousands of hours. It was very quick. So I was able to make the software very, very quickly. It was very complex. That software was very complex. I didn't know what I was getting into when I was trying to create it. But yeah, so I also was messing with AI music, and I've been messing with AI music since last summer when it started coming out with like Suno and oh, what are those other ones? Refusion. Like, yeah, I'm on the fence. Like, I'm starting to hear music on Spotify created with AI, and I hate it. I can't stand it. I think it's gross, and I think it's disgusting. Was my entire project built on AI music? Yeah, but my entire project was supposed to be, hey, how can AI help the artistic process? So I used all AI generated music, but here's the kicker from what I was doing. So as I spent hours and hours and hours figuring out how to create music with AI, getting the sounds I wanted, I learned how to break AI, which was really fun. So once you learn how to break AI, you can get some really crazy results and be like, that's different. And then those are actually the pieces that I liked the best. Yeah, I find all these like fragments of things that were broken that AI was giving me, and be like, I want you to use this actually instead. So that's where like these sounds or this music creation, I was like, that's what I want. But man, it is really, really good at making pop music, and it is disgusting how great it is at making pop music. But when you need like sound effects or like these types of things, I started making weird noises, and I'm like, create a song out of this, listen to the track that it creates, and find the little nuggets that I like, the sounds that I like, put it in my own audio mixers and what you have. I use Ableton, so I was using Ableton to modify these files, putting it back into an AI music generator. It might have been even another one. I used 3 different AI music generators to create all my music. So it wasn't just like, hey, here's a prompt, give me music. No, it wasn't that like that at all. It took weeks to create the sounds that I was looking for. And then once I like found my model of music or the model of sounds, because it was very soundscapey, I took like 100 of these files, these sound clips, and I created stories for each one of these. And because I'm putting all this stuff into a text model, I'm like, I can't give it an MP3, so I needed to find other ways to do that. So I gave each clip like a part of the story, a storyline of what is the Ashari. And it could be like, I am sad today or whatever, but it was more like, this is where we are in the story of the complexity of life, and this is how we're going to do it right now. And this is if we're in this part of the framework, this is where, like type of, a contextual element. And then it also had like a big framework. Like in my project, I was like, okay, so I have this AI that created the music. Cool. It doesn't interpret music from a large language standpoint, so I have to figure out how to do that. So I have a giant data set of text for each one of these little clips or the sound clips, and how all this goes together. And then I had to figure out how to tell AI, well, we're in this part of the performance now. How is that going to play out? That was another thing. Like there are things and elements that you have to understand, like what is the human control? Like what can we control and what does AI control? So for me, I'm like, I don't want AI to control the whole thing. Then the artistic element is completely out of it. So as an artist and as a creator, I'm like, I want to still be the creator of this project or this project or this performance. Like this is my baby. So I had lots of constraints. So for this performance, I took the golden ratio, for example. Yeah, I took the golden ratio, made a data model based on the golden ratio as the performance scope. So from beginning, middle to end, I had all these like mathematical, I guess you would say, of how the performance would go. And you could adjust, you could literally say, I want this to be a 20-minute performance, and it would roll out based on this model and talk to AI and be like, this is where we are in this, in the whole grand scope of things. So that was an element that I can control. The other element I could control is how the sounds kind of got. So like I composed all the music. Granted, I use AI to compose the music or help me compose the music. It's basically like Photoshop if you kind of think about it like that. But I was able to control like what the soundscape would look like. Originally, when I first started doing this, AI would come out with the craziest crap in the world, and I wouldn't have any control over the music whatsoever. Like, it would just barf whatever it barfed, and I didn't like that. As a creator, I was like, I need to be able to control some of this stuff. So there's a lot of control there. Let's see here. So I guess I was approaching AI with a bit of caution, but a lot of curiosity and a lot of openness. A lot of things that I've heard about AI is really bad. A lot of things I can't stand about AI. We are not friends, but now we're becoming friends. So my thesis project with transmission was basically like this space where I could be like, all right, let's try it. I'm wondering about it. I'm critiquing it. I'm creating with a machine, which I'm not sure about. I'm also using a lot of software, which was really complex and obnoxious. But in the end, I want to say that AI doesn't replace human creativity. It just kind of like amplifies it, makes us like amplifies our own questions, like our own patterns or contradictions to each other. Like, it helps us. It's a tool that we can use to facilitate. Yeah, so I think those are the 3 questions that you guys wanted me to answer, and I'm more than happy to answer more. Just let me know. Thanks.